All right, what's good, everybody? Let's get it rocking. We're dealing with another Meek Mill story. Meek Mill threatens Poundside Pop over disparaging interview. You gonna die. Now, understand, they're both from Philly. They're both warring over Philly territory. So it's Philly versus Philly. That's what you got to understand why Poundside Pop, why everything is against him. Understand Meek Mill made a bunch of sacrifices, already stepped into the game, already got his feet wet. He told him in it, when you read it, you don't know what you're doing. He doesn't. He doesn't know what he's doing because he's in Meek Mill's lane. He hopped into the heathen lane, and he's not really a heathen, knowledgeable about what it is he needs to survive as a heathen. That's what it is. That's why he doesn't know what it takes, and he's going to wipe him out. And he told him he is going to do that, and he probably is because of the nature of what he doesn't understand. All right, let's get this. Now, it says, in the beginning of the reign of Joachim, the son of Josiah, king of Judah, come this word from the Lord, saying, Thus saith the Lord, stand in the court of the Lord's house, and speak unto all the cities of Judah, which came to worship the Lord's house, all the words that I command thee to speak unto them, diminish not a word. If so, brethren, I will hearken and turn every man from his evil way, that I may repent me of the evil way that I purpose right there. Hold on, that I purpose to do unto them because of the evil of their doings, and hearken to me to walk in my law, which I have set before you, to hearken to the words of my servants, the prophets, whom I sent unto you, both and sang up early, and I sending them, but ye have not hearkened. Then will I make this house like Shiloh, and will make this a city a curse to all the nations of the earth. Right there in that story, if you understand Meek Mill, he just did reform. He just did this whole prison reform thing. Tried to say he came out new. Tried to say he changed. Tried to say what he's going to do is going to change. He's going to make different decisions. But look how he came out, making the same music, doing the same things, ending up in worse situations. This is crazy. Yo, watch this. It gets crazier. Hosea chapter 10. Okay, starting at the 7th. As for Samaria, her king cut off as the foaming the water, the high places also of Aven, the sin of Israel, shall be destroyed. The thorn and the thistle shall come up on the altars, and they shall say to the mountains, cover us, and to the hills, fall on us. Israel, thou hast sinned from the days of Gibeah against the children of iniquity, did not overtake them. It is in my desire that I should chastise them, and the people shall be gathered against them when they shall bind themselves in their two furrows. And Ephraim is as an heifer that is taught and loveth fair neck. I will make Ephraim to ride. Judah shall plow righteousness upon you. Reap in mercy. Break up fallow. It's fallow, F-A. And it's telling them to break up their defense, to break up. You'll get it. And then ground, for it is time to seek the Lord till he come and rain righteousness upon you. Ye have plowed wickedness, ye have reaped iniquity, ye have eaten the fruit of lies, because thou didst trust in thy way, in the multitude of thy mighty men. There shall tumult arise among thy people, and all thy fortresses shall be spoiled. Right there, that's everything happening to Meek Mill. Look, all the tumultuous situations he's dealing with. All the things he's going through. Look, he's in the news constantly. Diddy, then it went to another one. Wow, that's crazy. Arise among thy people, and all thy fortresses shall tumult arise among. Okay, as Shammah spoiled Bethekbel in the day of battle, the mother was dashed in pieces upon her children. So shall Bethel do unto you because of great wickedness. In the morning shall the king of Israel utterly be cut off. Right there. Remember, Meek was cut off going back and forth to court. Couldn't do anything. Couldn't even make music. Then he came out. His stuff wasn't even selling. Look now, he's not even selling. 6,000 first week is horrible. He's still not selling. That's God. I told you. It's not always people getting vengeance. It's God sometimes. That's God. And he's not even selling now because he did all that stuff against God. And God let him do that. He blasphemed them. Then God said, all right, you're cut off. Meek's literally cut off. He can't sell a record. He's having trouble. He can't get his career back on there. Wow. Wow. Now, this talks about the fact he was telling him you're going to die. Okay. Now, let's get it. Numbers chapter 35, starting at the 14th. We shall give 3 cities of this ride, Jordan. And already he blasphemed the 3 cities thing. And then other Philly rappers are starting to blaspheme the 3 cities. Oh my goodness. Y'all are going to go straight down, man, to the pits if you do not find Jesus Christ. What are you doing? I'm off the rip. I couldn't even get into it. Yo, come on, son. 3 cities. That's where y'all got it. Hold on, let's see. Then it goes to 6. Yo. He shall give 3 cities on this side, Jordan, and 3 cities shall be a refuge. These 6 cities shall be a refuge, both for the children of Israel and for the stranger and for the sojourner among them, that everyone that killeth any person unawares may be thither. And if you smite him with an instrument of iron so that he die, he is a murderer. The murderer shall surely be put to death. Or if he smite him with an hand weapon if of wood, wherewith he may die, he is a murderer. The murderer shall surely be put to death. The revenger of blood himself shall slay the murderer when he meeteth him. But if he trust him of hatred, or hurt at him by laying of weight that he die, or in enmity, smite him with his hand that he die, he that smite him shall surely be put to death, for he is a murderer. The revenger of blood shall slay the murderer when he seeth him. Right there. He just okay, look. Meek Mill, his raps, everything. He has this fate for him. This should be him, but he's trying to give it to another person. So here's what I wanted to say about the game. Now, when it comes to this game, it's obvious that they pull people into the stories. So this is a rapper in his lane, Ephesians 5:11, rapping the same type of things he's rapping, so he can pull them into his lane. If he was doing a different type of music, he couldn't do it. But he can do it. So now he's about to pull him into his lane so then he could take him out. And it's a free kill because that rapper doesn't know how the game works. You get it? So that rapper's confused how the game works. Now it gets even deeper though. So we got them pulling the rappers in to do that right there. Now look at the situation Meek is. He's having instance after instance. When they get with other rappers in other situations, it literally fits into a story that they all use to gain energy from in some way, shape, or form by blaspheming God. Now, the thing that they don't understand is that this brings repercussions. Remember, there's judgment on everything. Now, in order to see their judgment or try and lessen their judgment, what they think, I believe, this is my opinion. What I think they do is they think lessening their judgment is taking out someone else or getting someone else brought into the game to be a lamb for the slaughter, a sheep to the slaughter, a sheep to the slaughter. You get what I'm saying? Like it's blasphemy. That's why they use sheep to the slaughter. Literally, that's why they do this. It's starting to make perfect sense if you look at it that way. And then even so, remember, he's dropping album after album. And then each album did progressively worse and worse. But that was only during the time he was in court. Now he's out of court. He has to get something going again in order for him to get back on top. So is this guy that's trying to spark up some drama with him the perfect way to get back on top? Because he takes him out, he's back in full effect. Is that how it works? I'm curious because that would make sense. Because remember, we always see somebody get taken out when these stars come back up with a major album, major. And understand, Meek hasn't had anything going on in the news for a while at all. So even if he does, he has to have something happen for him. Something in the public has to happen so the world is a witness to it. Remember, for 2 or 3 witnesses, they have to do everything before 2 or 3 witnesses. And that's another reason why they roll around with people, because everything they do got to be before 2 or 3 witnesses. But here's the thing. When they talk about a handler, I'm trying to break down the definitions to a biblical understanding that these guys use that you see. When they talk about a handler, now the handler has to be one of the witnesses. It may be a plant that was sent there as a witness, but it's still one of the witnesses that can relay back, yeah, this person did do this, they did that. That could be that. But at the end of the day, when we're talking about mind control and different things, it gets deeper to a biblical standpoint, to spiritual wickedness. Because when you willingly accept a deceiver, willingly accept familiar spirits, you go to a different realm altogether. You're now in a spiritual way and spiritually dead. Get it? I read that. Let the dead bury the dead. It goes back to that. When you're dead in spirit and don't know Christ, you're dead already, because you're already condemned to hell, because you don't have the God's works with you. You don't have God's favor. And you already, if you made a hit song, you blaspheme the ultimate blaspheme, because that's how you become a superstar. I mean, super mega star. You blaspheme the ultimate blaspheme, and you do it in a clever way. And I'm pretty sure they break down that way, or because the other people are wise on the Bible, they know when they do it. And that's how they get them. That's what you got to understand now. This part of why reading this is a big factor in you getting how this works. The whole benefits of what happens and who gains and what they gain. Understand, because they're doing this stuff wickedly and under the hand and under the table. Now, the person that is behind them doing it gains from the deceiver. And the reason they gain from the deceiver is not only because they're like-minded, but I'm going to bring it up in another story. That's why I be hesitating to read. I be on it. Go listen. It's because I'm going to explain to you how I'm beginning to explain to get into the hell parts of how workers of iniquity work together and try to use, listen, in order for evil to work, they need to be in a group. You as one believer can defeat 1,000 evil people because they're that weak before God. But you got to know that. And that's the first thing. And the first reason why it's so important to tell your children about God, because if they know about God, they'll literally call out to God or think about him. He responds to children right away because he knows they don't know. So he'll come with the quickness. I have so many stories. He came with the quickness right in front of me. Just rock the situation. I'm like, oh shoot. And I'm just like, yo, like something when I'm a kid, he's that serious about his children. That's why when we talk about these different situations involving the hurting of them, that is so serious because God's so serious about it. So you got to teach them about God. If you don't do that, you are condemning yourself to hell, because as a parent, you are to lead a child and tell them Jesus Christ is real by scripture. You have to tell them as a parent. That is your duty. As the parent, you got to say it. And I'm telling y'all because it's so important, because in this world, I'm trying to, like, I got so many stories I want to do at once. It's so crazy. Guys, here's what's happening to you. You got to understand. It's more than mind control. It's doing things and feeding it to your spirit in a form of hypnosis so that you'll easily accept it later. So if I'm giving you a lot of information that's hitting on similar topics, and then I bring up that are, so let's say, stemming around uh, firearm control, whatever is happening with that, you are going to get conditioned to think, yeah, these are bad, these aren't needed, I don't want to use this, I don't want this near us. But then when you realize, oh shoot, there's communities and places that have learned to use it civilly, then you realize, hey, what's uncivil about us? They don't want you to look at yourself and reprove yourself. That's what God's saying. Reprove yourself and get your mind right. Realize who you are and what you're here to do. Get everything together. Honestly, this story is starting to show Meek Mill, you're very reprobate. It's very soon, dog. I've done, now I'm going to tell you now, I've done about 3 or 4 stories now this year on you. Just alone within the past month, sir. You got to figure out how to get a story that reads good. And stories can read good. I've read good stories about people. You got to figure out what to do because your actions are really outlandish, and it's going to put you in a situation where you're back on the prison bus. They want you back in prison. You don't see it. You fought for prison reform. You don't think they want you back in prison? You don't understand it. You don't see that, sir. You really don't recognize this, and I don't understand how you don't recognize it. And it's funny because the reason you don't recognize it is because you're reprobate, and they know that. So listen, guys, if you don't realize it, take his money. If you don't realize it, stop paying him so much. If you don't realize it, make him pay. Right there. I'm not going to sit here and fight for you to understand. Look, you got to move a certain way, even if you're living. In life, you got to think a certain way, man. This guy is going to get you hemmed up back in prison. That's why he's there running his mouth because he knows you, dog. He knows you own the zone by name. He knows you pull up, they know who you are. He knows that. Why do you think he's saying what he's saying? You got to think. You got to think smart. Me, wake up. Wake up, me. You got to wake up, man. Get yourself together, fam. You're going to make a bad decision. Don't let this guy pull you in. You got to get better news. Get better news for your record company too, man. You don't see the record sales? That's what we need to focus on. What are you focused on? Why are we focused on another person? Focus on your album sales. What's going on, man? All rights reserved.